Oh, pardon me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, you're listening to Fix My Carcast, and I just opened the door at the same time as a neighbor trying to come in. Isn't that fun? Hey, it's Fix My Carcast, hosted by Bear Claw Billie, and I gotta say, I didn't know what to do for an opening line, so being surprised by my neighbor, great start. This is episode 16. Today is May 17th, 2022. Today is the walk to work. If you don't know what this podcast is, I am raising money to fix my car. I'm hoping to hit the $3,000 goal. I found out it's actually going to cost a little more than that, but hey, $3,000. Let's keep it at $3,000. If we reach the $3,000, this podcast promptly ends. No finale, no send-off, no nothing. It's just, well, we made it, I'm done. But if you give money to the campaign, you get to pick a topic for the podcast. Also, if you join my Patreon, you get to pick a topic for the podcast. So get to the links below. We have no new donors as of this morning, but we do have a topic from a donor. Our lovely donor, James, who I think goes by Jim whenever I'm physically standing next to him. But we can go with James for now. James has a topic for today that I admittedly was a little hesitant about, but as I started doing research, it was kind of a fun one. Now, if you've been listening to the show for a while, you know sometimes I like to get around the requests on a technicality. See the NFTs episode and see the trans reading of the film The Batman. 2 episodes with twists I will not spoil, but go check them out. That's the kind of podcast this is. You're listening to the Twilight Zone of a fat person trying to talk while they walk to work. Submitted for your approval, today's topic is famous Percivals, which when I first saw that, I was like, oh, okay, you're just trying to trip me up, James. Because I could not genuinely name a single famous Percival off the top of my head. But I did a little research, and it turns out there are several fascinating Percivals of Acclaim, which is probably a better title than famous Percivals. Percivals of Acclaim. If you haven't figured out by now, the title of each episode is always something I say during the episode, which helps me get away with a lot of cheeky technicalities, and also is a thing I think podcasts have been doing since the Stone Age. So, oh my goodness. Well, it's trash day, so pardon me as my concentration is broken by weaving in and out of various bins. My goodness. So, famous Percivals. Again, I couldn't think of a one. And I did some poking. And I guess we'll start with what I believe to be the origin of Percival. Let me bring up the old notes here. And when I say bring up the notes, I mean bring up all the Wikipedia pages that I saved offline. So, Percival, the original OG Percival, is from Knights of the Round Table. He's first mentioned by French author Chrétien de Troyes in the tale Percival, the Story of the Grail. He is the original hero to quest for the Holy Grail before being replaced in later English and French literature by Galahad. So, I guess if James had suggested famous Galahads, we'd be in the same spot. No, we would not. How did Percival become Galahad? Now, I skimmed all these famous Percivals articles because I feel like at a certain point, too much prep robs this show of what it is, which is a nightmare that I am just feverishly cobbling together to raise money in the current hellscape. And somehow it's kind of working slowly. But yeah, I don't know if Galahad also existed. And then somebody writing the stories did a little bit of cleanup. And they were like, yeah, Galahad and Percival, they're basically the same guy. We can swap one for the other. It happens in comics all the time. You know, it's keeping your storytelling tidy. Or if they just went, we don't like the name Percival, and we changed it to Galahad. So there. I truly don't know. There are some other fictional Percivals on this list, but I want to get to some factual ones. Because truth be told, I only saved a Wikipedia page if something interesting on it grabbed me. Like I was looking at Percivals that I didn't really care about, but then I'd see a cool factoid and be like, oh! So I kept it. So let's go to the list and pull up another Percival. Well, I'm going to say this one that probably has the most fun name, and that's Percival Chubb. And if you think that name can't get any more fun, his full name is Percival Ashley Chubb. And he was a founding member of the Fabian Society, an influential British socialist organization that aims to advance the principles of democratic socialism via gradualist and reformist effort in democracies. Boy, that guy's ideas are going to go nowhere. Anyway, bless you, Percival Chubb. Born in 1860. 1860, but I heard socialism was a new idea invented on TikTok. Weird. Anyway, so that's Percival Chubb, who is... I didn't find anything like super noteworthy on his page other than sounding like a pretty rockin' dude. But Percival Chubb is here strictly for the name. Who is your favorite Percival? Sound off in the comments below. Are you in the Chubb Club? Are you in the Galahad Galamad because his name used to be Percival? There we go. I always bring it together, friends. I always bring it together. Let's look at some other Percivals. Uh-oh. All right. Percival G. Spencer was a British pioneering balloonist and parachutist. That's just a thing you could be. This was in the late 1860s, where Percival G. Spencer, Percival Green Spencer, was pioneering ballooning and parachuting. And this article has old-timey drawings of successfully crossing the English Channel. Wait. Friend and trusted assistant of the noted balloonist Charles Green. All 5 of Percival's siblings also followed the family profession. Well, that's just great. A family of balloonists and parachutists. Well, that's just amazing. Thank you, Percival Green Spencer. I'll admit I just saw the balloonist part and didn't read much more. And now I kind of wish I did, because it looks like this guy did a lot of stuff. Anyway, this is what I like to be sometimes. The person who sends you off doing your own research. Which is another way of saying I'm lazy. / I don't have resources. There's lots of stuff I'd love to research for you. But you know, I am but a humble poor person. And I can only do so much. And so much is usually email a bunch of people and hope something comes back. Not to get on a tangent, but I'm always out there trying to quote-unquote solve various filmmaking urban legends. And it doesn't always go well, but I'm the person who lights the spark in hopes that I can send other people down these fascinating rabbit holes. What am I doing? Not talking about Percivals. That's what. You want another Percival? Boom. Percival Roulette. Percival Lowell. This motherfucker. He was a businessman, author, mathematician, and astronomer who fueled speculation that there were canals on Mars and furthered theories of a 9th planet within the solar system. Whoa. Percival Lowell. Way to go. Though, is it really way to go if that 9th planet we wanted so bad suddenly ended up not being a planet? And I am not about to start the debate here. But man, people love to get up in arms over what happened to Pluto. But again, I'm not going to start that debate here. I'm not. I don't want you to go in the comments and tell me why it was right to get rid of Pluto or wrong to get rid of Pluto. I don't want to do that, even though that's a very hot topic that people love to debate. And the secret to YouTube is hot topics that don't mean a ton, but get people fired up. So don't do it. We're not talking Pluto. We're talking Percival here. I'm scrolling through to see if there's anything interesting about this guy before I go. Legacy. Okay. Although Lowell's theories of the Martian canals, of surface features on Venus, and of Planet X are now discredited, his practice of building observatories at the position where they would best function has been adopted as a principle. Okay, I love this. The idea that someone had to invent, hey, when you're building something, you should put it in the best spot for that thing. Somebody had to have that idea. Like, hey, if we're going to look at the stars, we should put these things in the best spot for looking at stars. Percival! You dang blasted genius. Have 12 cigars. Good job, Percival. Y'all want another fictional Percival? Well, I'll give you a good one. Maybe you've met him. It's the Scarlet Pimpernel. That's right, the character of the Scarlet Pimpernel. His name is not listed at the top of this article. God damn it. Sir Percival Blakeney is the Scarlet Pimpernel. And if you don't know about the Scarlet Pimpernel, well, I don't know, basically Ponzi rich boy by day and vigilante crime fighter by night. And yeah, a famous Percival. I've never read the book. I think I've seen the Daffy Duck cartoon, The Scarlet Pumpernickel, which, you know, great topical reference, Warner Brothers, because it went completely over my head. I actually vaguely recall turning to my mom and being like, Red Pumpernickel? What the... And my mom being like, oh, it's the Pimpernel. And I was like, what's a Pimpernel? And she didn't know. And in this moment right now, I also don't know what a Pimpernel is. So go to the comments, get in the comments, share this video with your friends who know what Pimpernels are. Let's get to the bottom of this Pimpernel mystery. So that's a good Percival right there. Stan Lee of Marvel Comics fame credits the Scarlet Pimpernel with being the first superhero. So that's kind of neat. Without Percy's, we wouldn't have Pluto. We wouldn't have superheroes as we know them. Well, at least not made by Stan Lee, I guess. And we wouldn't have all that other stuff I just said. You've probably figured out that the walk to work scrambles my brain a little bit. I promise you, if I did this podcast sitting in a stable chair, it'd be a little different. But if it was a little different, it wouldn't be the podcast you've come to know and love. Today's show is sponsored by dogs. Put in the promo code DOGS at checkout, and we will give you a free Pimpernel. That's right, a Pimpernel of your very own. Keep it out of sunlight, water it twice daily, and don't look directly at it, whatever you do. Woof woof, my friend. Why is that comedian and musician Keith Ebert? No, it's just a dog. I don't know why I confused the two. I've never seen that dog play guitar. All right. I think Keith plays guitar. I keep asking him to come on the show and tell us what he does. But enough about Keith's. We're talking about Percivals. A sentence I have never said before. And I'm glad to have done right now. All right. Percival Drayton. Check this guy out. Percival Drayton was a career United States Navy officer. He served in the Brazil Squadron, the Mediterranean Squadron, and as a staff officer during the Paraguay expedition. I'll tell you right now, I don't know much about military history, and I don't particularly care for military history. So when I came across this particular Percival, I was like, throw him on the pile of uninteresting Percivals. But there is one interesting tidbit at the tippity top of his Wikipedia. It was to Percival Drayton that Farragut issued his famous command, "Damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead." So that's kind of neat. While I don't know much military history, I do know about the "Damn the torpedoes" line. And this is the guy that heard it. Can you imagine? What a life. I'm sure if I scroll down some more, I'll find some cool stuff and some not cool stuff. He commanded naval forces against Confederate forts, defended by his brother. Oh, wow. Brother against brother. Wait. Yeah. Wow. So Percival and Thomas, the brothers Drayton, locked in a conflict for the soul of the nation. Or whatever. Damn the torpedoes. Full steam ahead. As Worf would say, prepare for ramming speed. All right. There was another. I hope I'm not too far from work that I've run out of Percivals. Who else is in here? Percival Lowe. Oh, Percival Everett. Percival Everett is an American writer and distinguished professor of English at the University of Southern California. I took a scroll through some of his works. Nope, that's just the titles. Where did I read the actual, meat and potatoes of what they're about? Oh boy. There was a really interesting one to me. Sorry, the road's kind of uneven. I gotta find this. Some of his book subjects are really interesting. Glyph, released in 1999, is the story within a story of Ralph, a baby who chooses not to speak, but has extraordinary muscle control and an IQ nearing 500, which he uses to write notes to his mother on a variety of literary topics based on books she supplies. Ralph is kidnapped a variety of times due to his special skills, and his Odyssey, as written by 4-year-old Ralph, teaches him more about love than intellect. Wow. That sounds wild. I think I might want to read some of these. Everett also published the novel Erasure in 2001. In it, he portrays how the publishing industry pigeonholes African-American writers. The novel, a metafictional piece, satirically revolves around a novella written by the main character, entitled First My Pathology, Then Fuck, which emulates fiction like Richard Wright's Native Son and Sapphire's novel Push. So this is some interesting stuff. I have to crosswalk, speedwalk. Excuse me. A big angry truck is big and angry that I'm taking too long telling the fine people about Percivals. Oh no. I think I'm interrupting a kindly old couple's morning walk. So I'm kind of slowing the pace down here a little bit so as not to aggravate with Percivals. These are the challenges of hosting a podcast on your walk to or from work to raise money to fix your car. Percival, baby. All right, so there's one Percival on the list that I was familiar with, and I think I'm down to him. So, Lowell, Spencer, original Percival. Oh no, the elderly couple is crossing the street the same time I was gonna. Okay, these are the kinds of strategeries you have to figure out on your morning walk to work podcast. So, I think it's a little too early to land on our final Percival. I apologize, I did not time this better. I think there's another 5 minutes until I get to work at the talent agency. Get excited, this is happening. Shout out to my boss, Asher. You know what? I can't just swim in place, treading water. No, I gotta rip this Band-Aid. Let me tell you all about Percival Cox. That's right. You know him as Perry Cox. Dr. Perry Cox. Why, that's right. He's the character portrayed by John C. McGinley on the television show Scrubs. So we'll go out on that Percival, who I have to talk about for quite a while. I will simply say I was a fan of that show back when it came out, though admittedly there's some toxicity in there, and I don't mean the episode where Serge Tankian did a guest spot, which I just made up because I'm really trying to stall for time because I've exhausted the Percivals. But should you be wondering, Percival Ulysses Perry Cox, MD, is a fictional character played by John C. McGinley on the American television comedy drama Scrubs. Dr. Cox appeared in every episode except My Last Words, My Comedy Show, and My Full Moon, all in season 8. Oh gosh, I am very tired. I'm feeling like I can't do this all on my own. Did anyone else really love that drum fill on Scrubs? I know that when I'm with my friends, I can literally just go and they will immediately, I can't do this all on my own. I know I'm supposed to be talking about Percivals, but all I want to talk about are two things. The Scrubs theme song and John C. McGinley in Point Break, which is just like, I feel like most people know him as Dr. Cox, but in Point Break it's like, oh, this guy might actually kill you. Perry Cox would never kill you, except maybe by accident during a surgery. But man, in Point Break, he is just a hard ass. He is like one of my top angry police captains in cinema, and there are quite a few good ones. So the Scrubs theme song, sorry, I'm glad I ended on this one, because I can vamp a bit. What I've always found interesting about the Scrubs theme song is it's the only song I can think of, and if you music people can get in the comments and tell me I'm wrong, it's the only theme song I can think of, or song in general, that has banjo and theremin. If I were to venture a guess, I would think maybe Brian Wilson has done a song with banjo and theremin. I forget the name of the band that does the Scrubs theme song. Also, technically it's theremin because it's named after Leon Theremin. Everybody says theremin wrong. Everybody says Moog wrong. It is the bane of being an electronic music nerd. But like, people say theremin. I just feel like it's kind of warped over time. Or I don't know, maybe that's disrespectful to the original Leon Theremin. Get in the comments if I haven't been trying to force engagement. Also, I will not respond to any of the comments. But, you know, make some. It's nice to see the views going up on the podcast. People seem to really like the trans reading of the film The Batman episode. So I'm digging that. Go check that one out if you haven't. Oh my goodness. I'm almost to work. I'm sorry that this Percival list has gone out with a whimper instead of a bang. But I mean, Perry Cox is pretty great. He's a fun character. If you like your quick-witted mean guys, which he is. Didn't he randomly hate Hugh Jackman? I feel like that was a plot point on that show. Is that like he just channels all of his anger into hating Hugh Jackman. I know there's an episode where he mentions he hates everything. He hates everything across all time and space and alternate dimensions and Hugh Jackman, which I always thought implied that Hugh Jackman was an interdimensional being living outside what the rest of us call reality. And now I'm almost to work, so let's go out on that. As always, Hugh Jackman lives outside of what we call reality.